Hi everyone, I thought I'd talk about something which I found interesting, which I noticed today. Now, this is in regarding the photographs of Jeffrey Epstein, who has a tattoo on his left shoulder. Now, you can see this around the internet. People have been talking about this. This came out in this drop round about Christmas. I missed it myself. But people were talking about this in relation to the fact is, as they say, that the autopsy never mentions a tattoo. And what they're pointing to is this latest group of photographs that came out in the files themselves. And you can see on the arm, they're saying that where is the tattoo? Now you can measure it. It is possible that the tattoo is slightly below maybe the arm there. But I'm going to talk about something else, just very briefly on the heels of the other video regarding the guard, of course, which had the FBI report, 274-page report in the Epstein files regarding the anonymous 4chan post who said they switched out Epstein. They tracked that back to an actual prison guard. You could go watch that video if you've missed it. But this photograph came out in December here of his tattoo. Now, there's a number of little wrong things here that I've been noticing now. At first, I thought it just leads to them switching him out. But now when I'm looking at this particular photograph, which there's no mention, as I stated, of him being of this in the autopsy, apparently. When I'm looking at this tattoo, for instance, if this is a tattoo that's very old, it seems too bright. And I've seen someone on the internet mention, they were posted Gork screenshot, and they said that Gork said that the tattoo was described in a deposition, and also that he said he had a tattoo since he was young. I have not been able to corroborate any of that. So I'm just going on the fact is that you have a tattoo that's very bright. It almost looks like an iron-on tattoo. Not an iron-on tattoo, but one of those ones that use like water and pressure in order to put on for a joke. But here's the thing. If you look at it carefully, look at the horizon of the arm there and where the tattoo goes. It kind of fades it fades just before the horizon. It shouldn't look like that, in my opinion. Now, that might be because it's whatever, but I'm starting to think that this particular tattoo is digitally added, right? If you look at it, it looks like it's digitally added. It doesn't cross right on this on his arm here. And when it goes down to there, it fades too quickly at the horizon. It doesn't seem to cross the horizon itself. Now, when I was looking at that, that's what it looks like to me now when I look at it. Like the tattoo has been digitally added. Why would you do something like that? To sow confusion, right? To confuse people, to get people talking about something that maybe isn't even real, right? You know, talking about the tattoo, right? That came out that people were talking about as part of the files. Of course, you have people reporting it here. It's just interesting. When I seen this, I thought, okay, well, this is evidence that he was switched out if it doesn't appear on his arm. Now, if this is a real tattoo, it doesn't kind of look like it to me. But if this is a real tattoo, then it seems like it might be below that horizon maybe a little bit, but I'm unsure. In which case, I'd go with the narrative that they switched him out. That's the only narrative I'm at. I'm either they switched him out, which is supported by the evidence, including the FBI report, which is 274 pages, unless they hoax that. That may sound bad, but I mean, where's the credibility here, right? We just have things that are given to us, like pieces of, something which creates a scene. We've got a scene there, we've got an actor come in here, there's something else here, and we're watching like the stage play. Now, I don't see any sign of the tattoo there. Obviously, it's kind of weird. By the way, if you're looking at this, yes, I did redact the photograph myself because I plan to post this on YouTube and, it'll go behind a restricted 18 wall. And, that's, it's unnecessary because this photograph is famous now. It's unnecessary for what we're talking about. We are literally talking about his arm. So, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much all I had. I've got just a couple of other things regarding the autopsy itself. When you do search at these new photographs, you have largely, this is a reverse image search on Google, to show you it's mainstream. That's why I'm using Google. You have numerous amounts of websites which the picture tracks back to. Of course, they're all blurred out, but not really any really in English. You have Jeffrey Epstein, Economic Times. Maybe that will change. These are some fresh screenshots. I didn't have my VPN on at the time, but these are what showed up from the reverse image search. So it shows you there's zero interest in the mainstream media talking about anything in any depth, even though this is a huge story. In fact, if you go to Fox News, you'll see no story on the Epstein files at all, right? They're talking about other stories, whatever they are. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. It doesn't look like a real tattoo to me now when I look at it. It's too bright. The arc of it doesn't really bend correctly. And I think they added it. I think they added it maybe to confuse everyone. I do still think they switched them out. Just very quickly on some things here, and that is this photograph. I seen InfoWars talking about this today. There's a clip that went around the internet talking about Epstein maybe still alive, implying that this is a person on the island that's Epstein. This is not Epstein, because we've seen 5 years ago when we were looking at all the Rusty Shackelford footage, this person has been this person's a worker on the island. That what he has in common with Epstein is he has like great hair. You can see other shots of him, right? I just remember this at the time because I covered the story, but this keeps on popping up where people say that's Epstein on the island. No, that's one of the caretakers of the island, a known figure. So that's been tracked back. Okay. So here's also what they said on InfoWars. They're talking about this poll by Thomas Massey. A lot of people think 46%, and this is from 147,000 votes. I would be surprised. I mean, that's a pretty good poll there. It says he's still alive, 46% and believe he's still alive. Only 3% believe he was suicided. And that's from Thomas Massey, who obviously is behind the release of the Epstein files. So that's going to be heavily skewed. Nonetheless, huge pool of votes there. And, it just, even when you look at any of these photos, right? For instance, this photo here, you look at these particular photos that are released, and there are questions that arise just from the actual fact is it's not high quality, right? This photograph looks like it was taken on a camera from 2003, maybe digital camera. It certainly does not look like a film camera. A film actually, you can get very high quality. If someone's using a telescopic lens from a distance with a film camera, you can get pretty good quality. I mean, the photos are being taken from a distance, right? But think of the modern cameras and the lenses they have. I mean, you can shoot something from a huge distance away and get something crystal clear. Now, it's not like the police are in front of them, stopping them at this particular point. Actually, the person that took this photograph is a very well-known photographer that seems to show up in different places. That takes then before things happen or just after things happen. Maybe they're sitting on a radio, right? Sitting on a radio, listening to police chatter back and forward, but they seem to always be there. And you can look at their name if you want. Look into their background. They've taken take so many shots of famous things, and they captured Epstein there in regarding what it looks like. And look at the difference in orange. You got this orange here, and you got this very light orange. Obviously that can happen from washing, right? New quality of the pants as opposed to something else. You got the red in the background. This it is what it is, right? They're just it's just very strange that you always seem to have these pictures of events that are in this lower quality. Again, I don't know the exact distance he was away, but how far does he have to be away to shoot it? I mean, it's not like he can't move forward and closer in order to shoot the shot. It just seems like, the quality of it's not so good. That's it for today's video, and I'll see you later.